Jericho, you're the only other person on the show that we've had play it. How do you feel? Where are you at with Deadlock? I have a new opinion from last week, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I play every night with Flom and his crew. Flom, I have like 2 days played or something like that, and Flom is probably he says he's top 1% when you check the Deadlock like Elo MMR site.
Oh yeah.
So the games we get in are sweaty and I do die a lot, but it is one of my favorite games in recent memory to just mechanically play. And as somebody who got addicted to League back in beta and season 1 and 2, you know, put 1,500 hours in 1 year into that game, I really wanted a MOBA that wasn't a MOBA. You know, the RTS top-down point-click, you know, APM style gameplay just doesn't work for me in the same way that it used to. And so this, I mean, it checks all the boxes and it really does do a surprisingly good job. I was so scared I would hate it after my first day playing because I did so bad until I was like, no, it's just a MOBA. It's literally a MOBA. I just have to play a MOBA again. But it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I was pretty high on the game. I played a massive amount of it in like a 2 or 3 day stretch. That started on stream and then I would just play off stream. I played a bunch with Strippin's like gang of cohorts, and that was a blast playing with them. And then I queued up solo, was this 2 nights ago? And I hit a wall of just like, I don't like playing this game. Like
Really?
I have to try so fucking hard to do anything. And there's so many fucking mechanics that like, I just want to shoot something and like feel good about that. I don't want to like wall jump and like parry cancel and like, I don't want to get good. Like there's so much shit in this game. It's so complex and deep that like at the end of the day, I just want to shoot something. And now I'm just like, I'm old.
You're a boomer now.
Dude,
I'm old. I hit that wall and like, oh God.
Okay.
You're gonna need to take some time in the near future and like just go ahead and watch what you just said back.
No, I know what I just said, but it's funny because I can go and play League and I'm like, all right, League's fine. Like you know,
all these mechanics, I just want to click my mouse and have things happen. Like I don't got time to learn all these things.
So many mechanics in this game.
Back in your day, games weren't so complicated, right?
Yeah,
you had a board and a ball, and if the ball hit the board, you were good to go. That was it. It was fine.
There's so many mechanics in this game, and like the fucking
not.
What are you talking about? There's like a parry system. There's like jumping off walls. There's crazy shit.
But you're literally coming from a game that has 120 characters with changing roles, dynamics, builds, and like you are playing the most info-heavy game outside of WoW.
That is true.
For a multiplayer game, in my opinion. This game has 20. You're starting off early. All the mechanics are just parts of games you already know how to play. The parry like system, like what's complicated about that?
Well, it's not that it's complicated. Complicated is the wrong word, I guess I should use. It's that you have to try really hard just to play a normal game.
We are at
JP wants to press buttons and make things happen.
Yes,
I got a walking sim.
That's why
hold on.
I went and played Diablo afterwards. I was like, yeah, this is
there's a very important disconnect going on here. And that's that we're seeing two people argue different things. See, Jericho is arguing that you already know this stuff. Like this should be easy for you, which he's right. But here's the problem, Jericho. You missed a very key word there. New. You see, he already knows all the League of Legends stuff, but all this new stuff, he ain't got time to learn things, Jericho. He already knows League of Legends. All this new stuff. No. The remote to the VCR, we don't need to learn that. Okay, we don't need to learn it. We'll let the younger generation do it. The younger generation can play Deadlock, and he'll just go play League of Legends, and he'll be fine.
And then that'll die off. And...
It's fine. Yeah, sure.
It might be true.
Look, I understand that this is a game that I've not recommended to some of my friends who've been like, yo, should I play this? I'm like, you don't like these kinds of games. Like it looks pretty, but I'm like, you don't like you're playing New World and Rocket League. Like this ain't for you, bro.
What do you mean by that? That like it's a MOBA? Or what is the when you say you don't like these type of games, what does that mean?
This game to me is 80% MOBA. It's an 80% Dota style MOBA
competitive.
where
competitive.
Yeah, where team based, competitive, you need to know about map positioning, lane stalling, pushing, like when to buy, when to back, when to engage, how to do, camps. And these are things that you don't learn quickly if you've never played a MOBA, but these are pretty like good common things if you played Smite or League or Dota or anything in the past. So when I say this ain't for you, I just mean like, look, if you're not predisposed to MOBA, this is going to take a considerable, like a lot more effort for you to get comfortable to just play the game and learn about how to be better or what you've done wrong. When, if you've played these before, like it was pretty easy for me to realize like, oh, I need to lane stall because early game I'm weak. Like I can't fight this character. I can't dive or whatever. But that's like an instinctual thing that you don't have if you play Rocket League all day.
Right.
You don't understand the lane dynamics.
As somebody who probably has the most hours in it, Jericho, is this a game for gamers or is this a game for MOBA players?
What's the difference?
What is
like,
that
no. What I'm saying is it somebody who doesn't have any idea what a MOBA is going to have any chance in this game? Like, or is it designed from the ground up for MOBA players?
Yeah, I would say it's designed for MOBA players, but I think that people like Shroud, who maybe aren't MOBA heavy players, are going to get very comfortable in this because the MOBA aspects are more about positioning and lane pressure and stuff, things that you probably did in other games, Respawn games, even Call of Duty. But like when people think MOBA, most of them are thinking top-down RTS movement system. That is a movement mechanic. It's hard for people who don't use it to get used to. This is, look at how it's a third-person shooter. Like I'm just playing a game like I normally would. So you're already removing that barrier of entry. You're just talking about hypothetical situations and how you apply pressure, how you fight. Anyone can learn that. It's way less scary than learning left click only move. WASD doesn't do anything. I think that it appeals to more people who play video games in the 3-dimension versus RTS is a very specific style of camera that we grew up on in the 90s and early 2000s.
Awesome. And similar line of question, did you play a lot of Smite? And is this a completely different thing or like an evolution of it, if you did?
I did play Smite. I mean, candidly, I only played because we have a skin in the game. So I'm not like well vested in like the gameplay besides just the 20 hours that I played. This is way more Smite than anything else, but I don't feel like a lot of people have played it, myself included, enough to give a comparison to it outside of the third person. This is way more shooty than Smite in that sense. And Smite feels more this feels more geared and weighted towards Dota's everybody's OP at some point, and it's not, you're never going to be like, dude, how do I escape that? Like you don't, you died, the end. And you're also capable of that if you just realized it or did better,
Cool.
Yeah, very much Dota. I will 100%
still got to try this game. It looks awesome every time I see it.
Like I talk about how I don't want to try and play it, but I'll fucking probably boot it up tonight. I think ultimately the biggest deal for me is that the MMR in the game right now is like the people that are playing this game are the like super tryhard people from other genres. They're not the normies. And I need the normies to jump in here to where I can actually like, feel like I have a sense of power.
You need some pub stomping, JP.
Yeah, I need to pub stomp.
You need some pub stomping.
Because
you need to
right
pub stomp
now,
some people. Got to build that confidence up.
Right now, I load into a fucking game, and the first wave comes, and they deny every fucking creep, and I don't get a single creep, and it's just like, oh, it's gonna be one of those games. And then it's just 30 minutes of me getting my fucking ass blasted.
Yeah, look, I will say that that's the biggest problem that this game and other games face. My games are averaging 40 minutes. Like a 30-minute game
long.
is a stomp, right? They're long. And there's a lot more swinging back and forth between who's in the lead and your ability to win, maybe just because nobody knows what the hell they're doing 100% of the time. But I can already see the soul-crushing losses that happen after 55 minutes of this. It almost makes me be like, damn, that's not very friendly. Like playing this game is not very time friendly.
And there will never be an FF.
I think the big phrase these days is it doesn't respect your time.
Dota doesn't give a fuck about your time. It never has.
It's not.
Yeah, Dota's never respected your time. The only way to surrender in Dota is if you have a full stack of team and you can only do it after 30 minutes in game. Otherwise, you're locked in for however long that game is, unless you want to leave. And there are huge penalties for leaving because they do not want you to leave. So, yeah, we'll see how this. I mean, it's probably going to do pretty well, right? Because like Dota found an audience, and I think that audience is the amount of people that I've seen that fell off of Dota because it's, you know, they've reinvented aspects of Dota, but ultimately you're still gonna be playing the same game. The amount of people that did that and now are getting access to this, and they're like, we're so fucking back, dude, because it's a new game that they can learn with the same people that they learned Dota with.
I will say the communal aspect of this is probably my favorite because it appeals in part to so mmany different styles of gamers.
I would agree.
And, you know, right? And also the 6 people. I've gotten full 6 stacks with Flom and friends, and it's like that feels very old game centric, where you've got a lot of people, not 4.
It feels like the
right?
Overwatch stacks that we used to do back when
exactly.
that game was big. Yeah.
And I think that there's a huge difference between four friends and 6. Like sometimes I don't want to be speaking, and you've got 3 friends carrying the entire conversation. It's like a more communal aspect. So I really do like it for that.
Yeah. It's also really hard with 6 though, if they're all in Discord, to communicate with Elaine. That gets real complicated.
Yeah, very confusing.
Because most of the time it'd be like, hey, I'm over at blue. Do you need help in purple? And then it's dead fucking silence because no one knows.
Nobody knows what lane they are. Yeah, that's true.
So they got to like catch up on all that. But yeah, the game's doing very well. It seems to be the hype at the moment, and it's still closed invite and probably every bit of a year, if not more, out from release. The other really, I don't want to say frustrating aspect of it, but they patch this game like every 30 minutes. And I'm not talking about like, I'm not talking about like small patches. I'm talking like massive, like, oh, this hero has like an alt attack now. Have fun. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, they added wall running and ropes like 2 nights ago. And I just logged on and I was like, why is there a rope here? And then somebody just Naruto runs across the side of the building. And I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, literally. But it's fun. That's like why, you know, I know people are going to meta slave and take it way too seriously, but part of the fun is being involved in something that's changing like this. And it makes me feel like there's not a real, you know, like if I lose a game because there's new mechanics and stuff, it's not like painful. I'm not like, why do you guys keep changing the finished product?
Yeah, it's definitely a real point. It's also really cool to like be a part of a game that is willing to make those wild, crazy changes that fast. Like if you look at the patch notes for the past week, it's a completely different game. Oh, honestly, like there's teleports across the entire map now. There's brand new buildings. They've just added so much to it. It's such a rapid pace that I would say the majority of people that have played like an online shooter have never experienced anything like that to the core gameplay loop.
I would go so far as to say that my first impression and my second and third impressions, if that's possible, to this game were really me trying to figure out, one, how to make content that's like appealing to other people, but also how to describe this game, because it's so much of everything and so little of one specific thing that I can only feel like comparing it to Dota is like the best way. But it does not feel in any way, shape, or form like Overwatch because the characters have abilities, or it doesn't feel like, you know, the shooting system. It really does feel like its own thing. And I'm shocked that, you know, through somebody's passion project and a whole bunch of shit crammed together, this came out, because it really does feel like an obvious game that should have been made, but not to this level and this polished so early on.
Yeah.
I say early on, it's like what, 4 years or
so
however many years.
It's been in development for a while. Yeah. They were posting like alpha footage that used placeholder images from like Half-Life 2 in it, and like Left 4 Dead, and they kind of an amalgamation of all, amalgamation of all Valve games. Funny enough that we're using different assets. So yeah, it was cool. I am curious to see when this comes out. If have they said if it's free to play? Have they said anything like that, Jericho? I would imagine it's going to be, but.
Well, you say that, but then I thought about monetization, and there's no real like you know, we're gonna do skins. Okay, that could make sense. I would be happy at a $20 price point for this too, like Counter-Strike originally was, till they figure out how to actually monetize it in a way that's not like, you know, pay $20 and lock this new hero kind of thing. That would be miserable. But yeah, it should be free to play if they want it. The most players, yeah, free to play, lower the bar entry, and make money somehow else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Put cases in. I don't care.
Well, Ice Frog has never been the monetization guy, right? Like he makes the games. I don't think he was ever responsible for putting hats in Dota. That was Valve or whoever at Valve. Like,
that'll be whatever ROI team they've got over there in Valve.
Yeah, they'll somehow put fucking gambling cases.
Yeah,
and make
Valve, if you're listening,
yeah,
I need to get in there. All right,
make a fucking killing on it. So
I want a music hit in Deadlock, Valve.
There. Oh yeah, you want to get the night mode?
Yeah, let's run it back. Let's do them all.
All right. You have one in Counter Strike? Is that okay? That's what it was. Yeah.
We have 7 songs in Counter Strike.
Nice. So yeah, that's the Deadlock update. I'm in a love-hate relationship with it now. We'll see where I am next week. Tune in to see if the boomer becomes a zoomer. I don't know what I'm saying.
bad tagline.
Yeah, that's the.
We're gonna need to pull that back and workshop it.
We're gonna workshop. Okay, yeah, we'll get Zeke in on it. We'll have. Well, he might not help, but let's not do that.
Let's let him burn a little longer.
Let's move it. Let's move forward. Yeah, let's move forward.